3 days ago, my brother-in-law called. He asked if I was absolutely sure about this Philippines thing, and for the first time since selling my house, I didn't have an answer. Hi, I'm Spence. I'm 53. I've sold my house to leave the UK and start over in the Philippines. And the closer I get to actually leaving, the more people in my life are asking cryptic questions that are basically asking me, have I lost the plot? And honestly, some days I wonder if they're right. It started subtle. That's exciting, but have you really thought this through? Then it got more direct. My brother-in-law, the one who we hardly ever hear from, he said, what if you get there and you hate it? What if you can't come back? And that one stuck with me because I didn't really have a good answer. Then there's my mate from the pub. He said, you're in your 50s now, mate. Bit late to be playing gap year student, innit? And then he laughed. But it wasn't really a joke. It was more like a warning. Like I'm too old to be taking risks. Too old to start over. And my cousin, he didn't say much. Just asked, what's your backup plan? And that's when I said, I didn't really have one. The silence was louder than any argument. That silence said everything. It said, you're being reckless. You're being stupid. You're going to regret this. So here's what keeps me up at night. What if I get to the Philippines and it's nothing like I remember? What if the heat's just too unbearable, or the culture shock is too much, and I'm just, well, miserable? What if I've romanticised this whole thing and think I'm moving to utopia? While we're at it, what if I've run out of money? What if my health goes sideways? What if I'm stuck in a country where I don't speak the language fluently, don't understand the intricate systems, and I'm completely alone, lonely, and utterly destitute? What if the safe investment plan doesn't work out and I've got less income and my safety net just dwindles away? And the big one that really does my head in. What if everyone's right? What if I am making a huge mistake? What if in 6 months I'm sitting in some dirt cheap apartment in Manila, broken, wishing I'd just stayed put? What if the smart move was to keep my head down and keep this house and keep my safe little life in the UK? Because that's the thing no one tells you about these big decisions. It's not fear versus confidence, it's fear versus a different fear. It's the better the devil you know, or in this case, the better the devil you don't. To be honest, I'm terrified of going, but I'm also terrified of staying put. And I don't know which fear is right. But you know what I've realised? Those questions, the ones from my brother-in-law, my mate, and my cousin, they're not really about me. They're about them. Because what I've learned is when you do something they're too scared to do, it holds up a mirror and they don't like what they see. My choosing freedom challenges their choice of safety, and that makes them feel uncomfortable. So they dress up their discomfort as concern, as practicality, as, oh, I'm just being realistic. But really, they're asking me to stay small, so they don't have to feel bad about staying small themselves. But here's what some of my family and friends don't understand. They see risk. I see suffocation. They seek stability, and I seek freedom and adventure. They see growing old in familiar surroundings as being comfortable. I see it as a slow death. Not a literal death, but the death of possibilities. The death of freedom, fun and adventure. The death of that version of me that's in there that still believes life can be different and full of vibrance. I've spent 20 years playing it safe. I've done the sensible things. I've kept my head down, worked in a corporate career, and where did it get me? It got me to a house I don't love, a life I didn't really choose, and a creeping feeling that I'm running out of time to actually live. So yeah, maybe the Philippines is a mistake. Maybe I'll fail spectacularly. But at least I'll have tried. At least I'll know. And if the Philippines doesn't work out, then there's all of Southeast Asia to explore and South America. My brother-in-law asked what happens if I hate it. And now I'll tell him, I'll figure it out. I'll move somewhere else. I'll move back. I'll adapt. Because the alternative of staying in the UK purely out of fear of the unknown, that's not safety. That's surrender in slow motion. So, am I sure about this? No. Not even close. Do I have all the answers? Absolutely not. And am I scared? Every single day. But the difference between me and the people questioning this decision is simple. I am more scared of regret than I am of failure. I don't know if moving abroad is the right choice, but I do know that staying isn't. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that has to be enough. If you're wrestling with a big decision, whether it's people support you or think you're mad, welcome to the club. Drop me a comment. And if you're wondering what'll happen next, then subscribe, because I sure could use the company in this limbo before I go. I'm Spence Unpacked, and I'm still figuring it out. I'll see you at the next one.